Now, that was Don't Shut Me Down by ABBA. Those 2 tracks were from their 2021 album Voyage. Now we're talking to Caroline Wood about the local active retirement group. Good morning, Caroline.
Good morning.
Now, you've had meetings recently, is that right, to get the group going again? That's
right. We started really in January. I suppose we had one meeting before Christmas, but we couldn't get the full committee that we required. So we met in January, and Mary O'Leary kindly came on board as secretary, and she's brilliant. Great, yeah. And then we've got Jean Daly, who is the treasurer, and she came from Nina, and she was on the committee there, and they had a very active committee, so she's been fantastic, giving us advice and knowledge from what they were doing.
Experience.
Yeah. And I met with Eugene Phillips, who's in Quinn, and he's actually on the National Committee for Active Retirement and on the Quinn Committee. And so he was telling us what they did and gave me some tips and so on, which has been really helpful.
It's good to speak to somebody like that has experience of being in one of those groups, isn't it?
That's right. I mean, they are different, and some of the things that they do would be more difficult for us because they're near to Ennis, so they hop on the train and they go up to Dublin and they go down to Cork.
Yeah, access is a lot easier.
You have to suit the area where you live, but it's very important for people to have, activities to take, to be going to things and doing things.
That's right, yes. Well, we've had some speakers to some of the meetings. I had invited Pat Burke because I thought it'd be interesting to hear what he was doing. But unfortunately, the day he was going to come, they called a council meeting. So I'm sure he'll come later on.
Absolutely. He's joining us later on anyway.
All right. Yeah.
So had you any involvement before? You obviously have come to live in Whitegate in the past number of years?
Yes, I've been here 3.5 years now.
Okay.
But the family have a holiday home here, so I've been coming for over 30 years.
So you're well used to the area.
Yeah. And I knew a lot of people here, which is why I came to Whitegate, really. I have family in Sligo, but I know more people in Whitegate than I know.
It felt more like home.
Yes.
Yeah. So, there was an actively retired group here, I think, several years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Up until COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
So obviously you saw a niche then and decided to start it again?
They instigated a meeting in December, and they actually thought that they would wind it up.
Okay, the original group, right.
Yeah. They didn't want to continue anymore. And so they had plans on the day they met here to do that. And when they arrived, I was here, and Jean Daly was here, and a few other people who were
new people. Yes.
And they thought, what are we going to do now? So and I was nominated as chair, and it was a case of, it'll either fold or I need to
go either way.
So I came on board.
Great.
And, I've been used to other committees, but I knew nothing about active retirement. But everybody's been very helpful and give the benefit of their knowledge and from what happened before. And I think new blood sometimes is
absolutely
a good thing.
It's no harm sometimes. Yeah.
And start as you mean to go on. It's good. So what have you put in place so far? Have you organised anything?
Well, we've had speakers. We had Arlene White came and talked about East Clare Walks. As I said, one time we were planning to have Pat Burke, but he couldn't make it. But the next meeting we have Stephanie from Mount Shannon, forgotten her second name, sorry, and she's coming to talk about Alone, the charity.
Okay.
And I believe there's some funding that retired people can apply for, so she'll be telling us all about that.
Right, and that's no harm either, because it does take funds to run any organisation, doesn't it?
Well, no, that's for individuals, for heating or whatever.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Or for the elderly or for whatever, for upgrading your home maybe or something.
I mean, we might not be eligible for it, but we might know somebody who would be glad of
That's
funding.
very good.
Yeah.
And all that information is very important for people,
People mightn't realise
what they are entitled
to. That's right. No.
Okay.
And then we had the last meeting was a social one for Easter. We had played a game and had prizes and then cakes and
Very
tea and
nice.
coffee. And it was, I think everybody enjoyed it. We had a lot of
Yes,
fun.
yeah.
That was a
And,
nice chat, a social gathering.
Yeah.
How often do you meet, Caroline?
Well, we've been meeting once a month, approximately. One
Yes.
month we couldn't meet because of the weather. We had
Right.
snow.
Okay.
And then it was just 2 weeks, I think, between the one meeting and the next for the Easter week.
Okay.
Fun
Okay.
games. And the next meeting is on the 8th of May.
Okay, that's just after
Which is a
bank holiday.
Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. So then we'll break in June, from June through to September.
summer.
For the summer.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
'cause
get
people
together.
would be busy anyway, kind of probably with family and maybe
Yeah.
going on holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got an activity, an exercise video so we may
Okay.
have that once a week if people want it in the autumn.
That's a good idea too,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is, yeah.
Yeah.
And how many members would you have altogether, Caroline?
Well, at present we've got 16.
Okay.
Oh, that's very good, isn't it?
Between Mount Shannon and Whitegate
Yeah.
areas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And we hope to build on that.
Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
people
Yes.
know what we're doing
Yes.
and what happening, we're hoping to have do a trip to Burr this
Okay.
well,
Before you
in
break for the
June,
summer.
before we
Yes.
break for
Right.
the summer.
Okay.
But we have applied for funding to the HSC and another organisation to do day trips out.
Great.
'Cause I think
Okay.
it's important
For the
for
bus,
people who
of
don't
course.
drive or
Yes,
who don't feel
exactly.
confident driving distances to be able to get out.
Get out,
And,
Yeah. And you're all together then as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
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 And do you find that it's people seem to say, oh, I'm not going to that. It's older people or whatever. But I mean, as you said, it's actively retired.
right.
The answer is in
it's
the
doing
heading, isn't
things,
it?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the name.
Getting out and about, and you
Yeah.
are having, as you say, outings and things like that.
And I've got ideas of who I want to come in and talk to us, and maybe give people opportunities to go off and explore something that they've heard about
Yes.
at the active retirement.
Of course,
So,
to give them the option.
Yeah.
And I suppose all the members can suggest a speaker if they'd like, or an activity as well. It's open to everybody, isn't it?
Very much so. I mean, when I started, I said, look, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Okay.
I haven't a clue.
We've all done that.
So please help me and tell me what you want.
Yes.
And, let's
Yeah.
do it together. So-
And you work well together,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, because it would
It's
be
nice
a
crowd.
varied, variety of interests from different people, being interested
That's-
in all different
that's
things.
right.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
And can I ask, are they all men or women, or is there a mixture?
We do have one man.
Brave man.
Sadly, John O'Donnell was
Yes.
going to come, and then he died
Poor man passed away.
recently. But yeah, we're welcome to John, who joins us. I'm sure would like to have some more company.
Of course.
male company.
Yes, of
Hopefully
course.
now,
Yeah.
after the
Yeah.
I
summer.
mean, I think the topics are for everybody.
Yeah, they're very
Yes,
general.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And I suppose the more people that are involved, the more ideas are going to be put out there, and the more activities that you can do, and
Yeah.
it's always good to
Exactly.
have a good group, isn't it?
Yeah. That's
Because they
right.
kind of work together and have different, ideas and, as you say, activities, and can suggest different things as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And you were saying that you have moved here. Are most of the people involved in the group local to the area, or have a lot of them moved in? I mean, it's great if you are after moving into the area and retired. It's a great social thing to get to know people in the area, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, well, it's a mixture. There's
Okay,
a lot
bit of both.
Yeah,
okay.
local people, but there are some others who have moved in. As I said, Jean came from Nina. There's
Okay.
John and Liz there. They were in Cavan, I think it was,
Right,
before,
okay.
and moved
Okay.
to Mount Shannon.
Yeah, it's great for people like that to
It
get
is.
to know
New
the
to the
locals.
area.
Yes.
Well, for
Yeah.
people, I mean, I live on my own, so actually during COVID it wasn't too difficult for me because I've got a dog and I'd be out
Okay.
walking and I would always meet somebody I
Yes.
could talk to from
Of course,
across
from a
the road.
distance.
From the road, yeah.
But if you do live on your own, then it's great to be able to have
Of course it
somewhere
is.
you can go once a week.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if it's raining,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. You can go in
Yeah.
and
It's an
Something-
outlet.
Yeah, it's an outlet.
Yeah.
It's something to be
Yeah.
looking forward to.
Yeah.
That
And then
I will be, doing this and meeting people and
Get to know
more
more people.
people. Yes. Yeah.
And as you say, the outings then as well, some people mightn't drive, some people might, but mightn't be too confident driving a distance. Just say the trip to Burr. Isn't it lovely to think that you can all get together and go off for the day and, and work together to enjoy the day?
That's right. Yes, yeah. And despite having been to Ireland for 30 odd years, I haven't actually been into Burr Garden
Really?
Castle. And garden.
Okay.
So,
It's lovely.
It is lovely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a
Hopefully
big-
you'll have a nice day. It's a lovely garden.
The gardens are fabulous. Yeah, Burr Castle.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And will you stop for lunch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Make
Would
a day
love
of it.
to get funding like that for something, even just to pay the bus if you had to pay
yeah.
for your own lunch, but just to get the bus and to be able to cover the expenses for that.
Yeah. Well, Jean spoke to somebody at the HSE and said, "Oh, you've never applied for funding before from Whitegate."
Okay.
And so they said that they would see what they could do to.
If you're not in,
make
you
sure
can't
we
win.
got it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And do you pay membership of your
Yes.
group?
Well, we pay £25 for the year,
Okay.
and then we pay not pounds.
Euro.
Sorry,
That's okay.
Euro.
That's okay. Euro. Right. We know
And
what you mean.
€5 each time we meet, and
Right.
that goes into a
Kitty,
draw.
a draw.
And
Oh.
we have the winning ticket gets €10
That's good.
And where do you meet when you
here in the hall.
in the hall?
GAA.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of a way of building up funds in the kitty, as it were, as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if you pay your 5 and you only give out 10, but if you have 16 members, it's a bit of money just to have.
Yeah, that
you
if
know.
you do go, say, on an outing,
yeah,
you would have
there's
something
something
to
there.
contribute
Yeah.
towards the cost.
Yeah.
Or as you say, the Easter egg, you know,
That's
the
right.
social night, just to be able to pay for those little
Yeah.
extras.
Yeah.
Yeah. So things are looking well, Caroline.
Well, yes.
You're very positive.
Well, yes.
You're going to stay on
I'm
as
always
chairperson
positive.
anyway, are you?
Well, somebody did say to me, "No, you've got that for life."
Yeah,
I think that's
does
how it
happen.
works.
You kind of go into something for a couple of weeks to give a hand, and you're still there a couple of years later. We know all about it. So you're quite positive about
I
it anyway,
enjoy
all
it.
jokes aside, Caroline.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
And you're probably
yeah.
getting to know a lot of people as well.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, but it is important that you do, you know, just because, you know, years ago when people got old, kind of people thought maybe they should be just at home, but that's not there
Totally
anymore. You know,
changed.
it's totally
Yeah.
changed. I mean, you can have a very active life.
Yeah,
Very.
yeah.
You know,
And people are retiring a bit earlier now
people
as
are
well.
retiring,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there was an article in the papers in the UK before I moved out from London that saying that people didn't retire to the seaside anymore and sit and wait for the pearly gates to open. They wanted to be active.
Of course.
So they
Yes,
were
but-
Yeah.
moving to cities
Yes. Which is
where there was
right.
more to
There's
do.
a lot
and
going
they
on.
could-
Yeah.
there's activities. Yes.
And so, yeah, I think that's...
You must find it a big change living in Whitegate to London, do you?
Well, I moved from London to Staffordshire, to Lichfield, which apparently is the place to retire to.
Okay.
And it was nice, but it wasn't anything like the
Really?
life is here.
Okay.
I mean, I love the quiet. I love the
Everything
the
about
lake.
it.
I was
Yeah.
up in Mayo this week. Oh, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Achill Island and walks with the dog. It was absolutely superb.
Great.
Yes. Yeah.
And clean, unlike
Okay.
parts of the UK.
Right. So you've no regrets about moving to Whitegate?
Not at all.
Great.
No,
Oh, that's
no,
great.
it's
That's
lovely.
good
And it's a
to
great
hear.
community here.
Yes, it is. It is.
And it's great to be able to put something back and to help out and to.
And
That's a great attitude to have.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And the girls have spoken there, like in good times and in bad. There's a great community to rally around.
Oh,
you
definitely.
know.
Yeah.
People are there for you no matter what.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
That's
for anybody that
important.
would like to get involved, Caroline, in the active retirement group, is there a contact number, or do they leave their name with anybody, or?
Well, I have a contact number which is 085 856 4416. Or if they want to come along to our next meeting, it's on the 8th of May at 11 o'clock here in the GAA hall.
Okay, so the 8th of May at 11 o'clock here in the G Hall for the Whitegate Mount Shannon Active Retired Group.
Or
Okay.
contact Mary Leary as well.
Yes.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
the secretary, so people
Yeah.
would know.
Oh
her.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
People
Yes.
might,
No,
yeah.
all right.
Caroline or Mary.
Mary, yeah.
Or I suppose if they inquired for Mary in the post office or
Yeah.
Tracy's
Yeah.
shop as well, that
Yeah.
either of them would
And
put
it's
them
in
in
the news.
contact.
It'll be in the newsletter.
Okay.
And Claire Champion. as
Oh,
well.
brilliant. Okay, so lots planned anyway for this year. So there's a couple of outings yet. So you're not too late to join the local active retirement
No.
group. Great. Okay, Caroline, listen, thank you so much for joining us today, and the best of luck to your group.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.